So today I'm going to talk to you guys about the 5-year plan of an entrepreneur and what I would do if I was starting from scratch with no experience, no knowledge, no idea of what I wanted to do. And I'm going to explain to you guys how I would make $1 million in 5 years and have a net worth surpassing that in the future and living a life of my dreams and living the life I actually wanted to live. So I'm on basically year 2 or 3 right now on my path, and I want to quickly explain to you guys what I did. And then I'm going to tell you guys what I would change and then kind of what I plan to do in the future, because I think the plan and the things I have done, a lot of you guys can take and use in your life and in your businesses. So when I first started, I loved real estate. I was fascinated by the idea of real estate, and I knew I wanted to do something. So what I did was I paid money to join a mentorship. And would I do that again? I'm going to answer that in a little bit. But when I joined the mentorship, I didn't really get much handed to me. I had to figure it out myself. It's very important that you decide your future. No matter what decision you make, you're in control of what happens to you. So when I first started, I met a few people, and I ended up kind of joining a little bit of a mini startup for like a wholesaling company. And if you guys don't know what wholesaling is, basically you're the middleman in a real estate transaction. You facilitate the transaction between a buyer and a seller and a real estate agent, and you find an investor, buyer, and you make the money in between. So it can make good money. Like you can make $10, $20, $30,000 plus per deal, and we did tons of them, right? But when I first started, the first 8 months, I made no money. And this is kind of what I want to tell you guys. I was cold calling every single day because I had no clue how to do sales. And everyone's like, oh, to learn sales, you need to join a course or join a mastermind or learn from someone. I feel like the best way to learn sales, obviously you can do those things, sure, is simply doing it yourself, hopping on the calls, calling people, dealing with negotiations, and you're going to slowly get better. I think the best way to do anything really well in life is by you doing it yourself, not watching a video, you actually taking action, doing the work, and seeing what happens when you do the work, right? And I failed over and over and over again. I made thousands of calls before making any money. And even when I made my first check, it was like $1,000. It wasn't that much money. So literally, for the first year of your path, what I'm telling you guys is, you need to figure out something you want to get good at. So for me, I wanted to become a master salesman because I knew if I became good at sales and I worked on my communication, I could use those tools, I guess, and take it to anything I wanted to do. And now all of a sudden I'm doing a lot of marketing stuff, which is very similar. So I don't regret anything I did. But if I was you guys, the first year of your journey, you need to figure out what skills do you currently have. So what skills are you good at? What are you bad at? Then figure out kind of like the future of what you want in the next 10, 20 years. What do you want to do in 20 years from now? What's your end goal? How much money do you want to have? You got to give it yourself a very deep explanation, a very detailed explanation on what you want in your life. Okay? So that's very important. The first year is going to be a lot of learning. Okay? So it's not about earning, it's about learning. And for me, it was sales, wholesaling, real estate, negotiations. And that first year is very important because you can make some money, sure, but you need to work a job, or maybe do a sales job. That's another thing you can do. Or do something where you're making guaranteed income. It depends how old you are, right? Because obviously if you're 30 years old, you're in a different predicament than if you're 18 years old. But I recommend, especially if you're younger and you're 18, 19, get some sort of job that you hate, or maybe a job that you could use, like a sales job, like a car salesman or a real estate agent, something like that you're not making guaranteed money, but you're gonna learn valuable skills, okay? So do those things and then learn. It's that easy. For a year, learn. You're not gonna make much money, but you gotta be okay with it and just either, if you're not working a commission job, you can have another salary job on the side. Again, for the first year, guys, understand you're not going to make any money. You'll make very little money. Results don't come quickly. It takes a long time to get results, okay? That's understandably the most important thing I want to tell you guys, because most gurus will never tell you that, okay? Year 2 is the year you can kind of start earning, in my opinion. I think year 2 is when you actually start your own business, or you're actually getting momentum from the previous things you're doing. So if you're working a commission job by year 1 or year 2, you're probably already making a lot of money. You're 24 months in now, so you learn the stuff, you know about sales. Now you're printing a little bit, but obviously you're probably still hustling, you're still not quite there yet. But the thing is, this is the moment when you start building your name up and you start building connections. Year 2 is when you have a name, hopefully you're at the level now where you're having success, people know you. You have to figure out how to make yourself seem different. So that's kind of what happened to me. I met a lot of people, and what happened was I quit my wholesaling stuff and like the company I was working with and my partners, I had a ton of partners, we were all running it. I transferred to do a marketing agency for real estate agents at the time. And I learned a lot. And obviously I've been through a lot of pivoting and a lot of changing, but I'll tell you guys, the most important thing is whenever you switch, a business, stick to the next business for at least 6 months. Don't pivot back and forth because you're going to lose progress. You need to stick to one thing for a long period of time and let momentum take its way. If you work hard, I guarantee you're going to get results. Most people I see quit before they barely even started. They quit before they even know any results or anything that's happened to them. They just quit too early. And I don't want you guys to do that. That's very important. So that's like year 2 to year 3. You're starting businesses. You're not sure what will work, what will not work. And then basically the whole thing is you need to find a niche that's very important that people actually need. So whether it's AI automation, which is very popular right now, anything with AI is great because that's what's popular right now, but also if you're doing real estate or anything like that, or you're even e-commerce, whatever you're good at, do. You'll know by year 3 what you're good at because you've had years of experience by now, and you're also a lot smarter than you were when you started. You're gonna understand everyone around you is gonna seem really stupid, not because they're more stupid than you are, it's just because you're getting smarter. So understand that. So year 3 is the year you learn a little bit about how to run your own business. You're delegating, you hire employees, do simple things like that. And you actually start to make your first amount of money. You start to make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. And all you have to do from there is take that money, repurpose it back into content, put it back into employees, put it back into systems, and that will turn into a lot more money as you keep going. Don't pivot. If you're at $40,000, $50,000 a month, do not pivot. Stick to the business model because you can grow it. All you gotta do is reinvest a mass amount of your profits back into the business, and I promise to God you're gonna grow. You do a good job, you have testimonials, people are gonna come to you. You're gonna get inbound, meaning you're not even gonna have to pay for leads anymore at this point. You don't have to if you don't want it, but I would because you have $50,000 a month coming in, okay? So now year 4, you get clients, you have a lot of clients, you're doing well. And this is more specifically for an agency, but really any company. By year 4, you already are an expert in your niche. You're probably doing social media to advertise. If you're not, I highly recommend you do it. And you're probably already have a lot of connections in your niche and in your industry. Meaning you have a good word of mouth, obviously because you know people, and you're a trustworthy person because you have actual experience that people will be willing to pay for. Again, I cannot reiterate this enough. You have to have experience and skills that make people want to pay you. If you don't have them, no one's going to pay you. You can't charge $5,000 if you don't have a skill and people don't trust you. You have to have a skill. You have to have knowledge in this space. You have to have experience in this space. That's very important, okay? So by then, if you reinvest your profits, you put it into content, that money is going to only keep growing. You're not going to lose money if you put more money into content. That's easy. It's like if you double your money in advertising, you're going to double the amount of leads you're getting, and you're going to probably get more results. That's just math, right? At this point, you're going to understand that business is simply just math and a numbers game. And all you have to do is reinvest your profits over and over again. What's going to happen is you're going to expand so large, you're going to eventually not want to be in the business. The worst thing you could do if you're making $100,000 a month is put yourself in too many different shoes. You have enough money to delegate to employees, to VAs, virtual assistants overseas, or to systems, AI. You can do all those things. The worst thing I have seen from people in my space who are doing well is they put themselves in too many situations. All you have to do is figure out what you're good at, stick to that. The things you're not good at, hire someone, but only hire someone if they're better than you at that thing, okay? So by then, that's the simple layout on how you can go from $0 a month from learning the skills to year 4 or even year 5, making over $100,000 a month. I promise you guys, this is not for everyone. Most people are not going to succeed and get this path and move this quickly. But for those of you who commit and those of you who don't give up and those of you who keep trying, and you're going to pivot, you're going to fail, you're going to make mistakes. It's a lot more complicated than I'm saying, but I promise to God, if you guys stick to the path, you will make it, okay? So please understand that. Again, I'll kind of tell you, year 1 and year 2, you're kind of learning. Year 3, year 4, you're earning. And year 5, you're really scaling. And then you can kind of eventually sell the business or delegate it so you're not even in the business anymore. And at that point, you have enough money where you can invest in startups, you can invest in content, sell coaching. By then you have enough knowledge to do a lot of different things, but you have to get there first, which is the hardest part. Once you get there, it gets a hell of a lot easier. So please understand that. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully you guys got value from this video. I think I gave you guys a lot of sauce there. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.